Um, People are often most insecure in their roles as leaders in two different scenarios. One, when they are not getting enough feedback from their boss, right? So maybe you get quarterly performance reviews, but you're hearing nothing in between. There's just radio silence, and you're operating day to day, assuming and kind of operating on the assumption of if something's wrong, they'll let me know. And then we get to performance review time, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, have I been doing enough? Because what you were doing through that entire process without realizing it was self-validating. You were, yep, I'm showing up, I'm doing what I'm told. No one's told me otherwise, and so it must be good enough. But now when we hit this crossroads of a performance review and someone actually is going to give you that external feedback, now all of a sudden we're scared and we're nervous and we're insecure and we're doubting the last however much time has passed since the last performance review, right? And the other side of this is the other time I see this show up is when people are not doing enough on their own to self evaluate. And that self evaluation may be solo, it may be in a group, it may be from a mentor or a coach, but if you are not creating your own methodology and your own system for evaluating your performance in between being evaluated by your supervisor, then there's going to be a gap there. Unless you're getting like weekly or biweekly check-ins, and that would actually be great. But if that's not happening, then we're going to create a little bit of insecurity. Now, listen, when I was leading a really large team, I had every other week, not weekend, check-ins with them. It was a huge team. And so that meant 1 to 2 people a day I was talking to, and I just kind of paced it out. But what that did, because I had about 35 people that were on my team-ish, that number varied here and there. But if I was meeting with a few people a day, I was able to, well, I guess that maybe they were on a 3-week rotation. Y'all, I'm not good at math. But it was every so often, right? But I was also talking to someone on the team every day. And so if there was a problem or if there was something that had come up, someone was telling me. Someone was giving me that feedback. Someone was saying the things I needed to hear, right? So even though I might not talk to that individual once every 2 to 3 weeks, they're getting really consistent feedback from me on their individual performance. But I also have an ear to the ground on my team every single day. And here's the problem. As a leader, we don't want to do it. As an employee, we desperately crave it. As a leader, we don't want to do it. And as the person on the receiving end of the feedback, we crave it deeply. Um, I see this all the time. I worked with vice presidents of organizations who are like, I just want a meeting, right? But when I ask him how many they're having with their team, he's like, oh, well, I meet with them on a quarterly basis. Okay, right? So let's think about what's the phrase? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like if this is something you're craving, you know the people on your team are craving it. So if you are not able to get this from your boss, if you are not able to get this from your supervisor, if they are not just, even after you've asked, if they're not providing this for you, this is something that you need to create for yourself in some other way. And again, that might be a coach, it might be a mentor, it might be a group, it might, I don't know, it could be whatever. It can be a rubric and a system that you create for yourself. And just do the best you can to be honest with yourself about where you're succeeding and where you're dropping the ball. But this is an absolutely huge part of your success and your growth is that evaluation piece, right? Now, I've been talking to you guys about the nest, and the nest is currently open. Now, in the nest, we are not going to be evaluating your performance at work, but we are a fantastic place for feedback, a fantastic place to be able to bring situations and say, here's what I have going on. What do you guys think? What am I missing here? What are my blind spots? What am I failing at? What could I do better at? What have you experienced? that you learned the hard way, and I can maybe circumvent that difficulty and that pitfall because I can learn from you. The Nest is a 6-month container for women leaders, and we're going to be closing the doors to this very soon. But I invite you to have some conversations with me. If you want and are craving a space where you have a sounding board, where you have conversations that are just we're cutting through the crap and we're getting to the meat at the heart of what's going on in your personal life and in your professional life and how it manifests in all those ways, this is the group for you. This is exactly the space that you need to be in. And I would love to talk to you about it. You can go to amycapello.com/nest and learn more about it. If you already know that you are in and you want one of the limited spots that we have left, go ahead and fill out the application and I'll reach out to you and get you set up. This is a very, very carefully curated group so that we know that it is confidential, it is safe, it is honest, it is authentic, and it is committed. The women that are joining this group are signing up and committing to being there for every call as much as possible, even from the car if they have to, so that they can show up for one another, not only on our calls, but in between them as well. This is a place where you can be seen and have that space to be held and be heard. So, if this is the right time for you to be opting into this, I invite you to apply so that we can have a conversation and get you started. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Go get you a group, a coach, a mentor, a sounding board, whatever it is. And as a leader, make sure that you're doing that for your team as well.